Google Gemini versus Microsoft Copilot. We're gonna go ahead and start off with Google Gemini with our first prompt. We're gonna keep it basic and then we're gonna get more complex and difficult as we move on in today's video. I'm gonna start with create a complete website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Let's go ahead and see what we can get from Gemini. So it gives us this message: while I can't create a full-fledged website with all the bells and whistles in this response, I can provide you with the basic structure and outline to get you started. This will be a simple website with a navigation bar, hero section, content section, and footer. So it's only giving us the home page. I said to create a complete website, which it's not doing here, but I'm still gonna go ahead and take this HTML and CSS and put it into Visual Studio Code and see what it looks like. I successfully added all the HTML and CSS that it gave us, and on the right you can actually see the template is not too bad. Again, I asked it to create a complete website, which it's not doing, but it is giving us a basic layout here where we can start off from, which is nice. Now, looking through the HTML and CSS, I don't know how much time this is really saving anyone. All of this can be coded up really quickly just from scratch. So the whole point of using these AI tools is to save a lot of time. So I don't really know how much time this is really gonna save you guys. I mean, it gives us a basic template, but it's really basic. All right, let's take that same prompt and put it in Microsoft Copilot and see if we can get something a little bit better. I don't know what to expect here, guys. So it looks like it gives us a quick message like it did with Gemini. It's going to give us our HTML here. It's going to give us our CSS, and it's even going to go ahead and give us some really basic JavaScript here. And it looks like what it's doing is it's creating our HTML boilerplate here. Then it's giving us our styling. Then it's giving us some basic JavaScript. And then it's giving us what looks to be a navigation bar here. And then that's really all it's giving us so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this code and see what it looks like in our live server. All right, I successfully added all the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And the important thing I want to point out here is that it did not create a separate file for our CSS and JavaScript. It just expects us to include it in our index.html. So that's what I went ahead and did right here. And as you can see on the right side, really all it gave us is a navigation bar. When I said to create a complete website, it didn't really do what I asked at all. And then none of these are actually going to go anywhere. So overall, it gave us a lot less than Google Gemini gave us, but the navigation is a little bit better and you could easily move that over here. But overall, Google Gemini definitely is doing a better job to start out today's video. So 1 point has to go to Google. Let's go ahead and move on to the second prompt. So the second prompt here, we're going to be asking it to create a specific layout using Flexbox and making each item in that Flexbox red, green, and blue in that order. Let's go ahead and submit that and see if Gemini can even give us what we're asking for here. So again, it's giving us separate code here that's supposed to go in separate files, which is nice. That's the way you're supposed to do it. And it's writing up a lot more code for us. So let me go ahead and move that over and see how it looks. I have all my HTML code here, which is very basic, as you guys can see. And then where most of it is going to be is in the styling, because we're asking for a specific layout. But it is creating the layout exactly how we asked. We wanted red, green, and blue circles all in a Flexbox container. So I'm going to go ahead and inspect this and see how it looks. And it is successfully a Flexbox container. It looks like it's completely responsive, which it is, and they're all properly spaced apart like I asked. So pretty much exactly what I asked for, Google Gemini gave us in this case scenario, and it centered everything the way I wanted. And let's take that same prompt and put it into Copilot exactly the same. Let's see if we can get something similar. So I put the same prompt and it says, I'll try to create that. Then it says sign in to create images. We can only generate images for users signed in with a Microsoft account, except for the fact that I'm not asking for any images. I don't know what the deal is. There's nowhere in here where I'm asking for images. I'm asking for 3 circles in a Flexbox container that's completely responsive. I think it's just messing up here. Let's see if we do it again. I'll try to create that. No, so it's not even gonna let us do it unless we sign in. So let me go ahead and sign in really quick and see if we can actually get something. All right, so I successfully signed in, and now we're gonna go ahead and try this one more time and see if we can actually get something from Copilot. I don't think it knows what I'm asking for. So definitely a -1 for Copilot, because I'm not asking for images. I'm clearly asking for HTML and CSS code, and Gemini was able to produce that here. And especially since I already put in a prompt asking for HTML, and CSS, the AI should know exactly what I'm asking for. But over here in Copilot, it does not know what I'm asking for. So Google Gemini definitely wins this go around because it automatically knew that I was asking for it in HTML and CSS when Copilot thought for some reason I was asking for images. So Gemini is officially winning against Copilot 2-0, and it's really not even close. It's giving us way more detail in our code. It's understanding what we're asking. Let's go ahead and move on to the final and most difficult prompt and see if Copilot can make a comeback. So this prompt I'm going to go ahead and insert into Gemini. If you guys want to read this exact prompt, it will be down below, but I don't want to sit here and waste your time reading the prompt. So now we have our HTML here with what looks like exactly what we asked for: a navigation, a hero section that says Bobby's Burger with a button inside of it, and a basic footer down here at the bottom. And it's also giving us code for our menu page here, and this is for our home page, and then it's also giving us code for our menu page. For an about page, it doesn't look like it's giving us CSS. I am asking for CSS in the prompt, but it's not giving us any CSS here. So I'm wondering why it's doing that exactly. We're gonna go ahead and move this over because this looks like a really solid HTML layout. So I added the code for each one of our pages, which is exactly what I asked for in the prompt, but unfortunately it didn't give us any CSS for some reason. And another issue that I found was on the about.html, it didn't complete the footer for some reason. It just stopped right at this point for some odd reason. But I want to go ahead and test this out and see if it will actually link, which it does. So our navigation does successfully work, and we have 3 pages where all we need to do now is just set up some basic styling and add some images that we might want. While I don't think this is great because it didn't give us any styling, I think it's definitely a great starting point from this perspective of getting HTML content ready to go. Now let's take that same prompt and give it to Microsoft Copilot and see if it will actually generate us some HTML at least this time, and not an image. So it's just telling us what to do. Okay, and it is generating us HTML and it's giving us CSS. And I actually do like that it's kind of detailing what it's going to do here. That's actually kind of a nice feature. All right, so I was sitting here for a couple minutes waiting for Copilot to generate up more than one HTML page, but it looks like it's not going to do so. It's only giving us one HTML page, which is already a bad sign because Google gave us all 3 separate pages that we asked for. So let's go ahead and put this into our code editor now. All right, so here's what Copilot gave us. I did ask for this horrific color scheme here of blue, red, and black, so it looks right out of the 1990s, but it did kind of give us a basic layout that we were asking for. and it did successfully add our color scheme that we asked for. But again, I think Google Gemini, even though it didn't give us the styling, which I think was a negative, it gave us all separate pages for each one of our HTML links right here. So I think overall, Gemini on this final prompt just barely wins because it gave us 3 separate HTML pages, but it didn't give us any CSS styling when Copilot did give us the styling, but it didn't even give us more than 1 page. Overall, Google Gemini completely destroys Microsoft Copilot 3-0. Let me know what you guys think about these videos. If you missed the other videos in this series, I'll leave links to those down below. If you guys want me to change up my prompts or have any ideas for prompts that I should give these AI tools, make sure you leave those down below in the comments. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching.